Hello there and welcome to another edition of The Big Q. Well, the world is moving at a fast, rapid pace to try and embrace the digital world. But without the necessary apps, or rather some of the easy things that can make our lives easier, we will not feel welcomed in this digital space. And that's why today I'm joined by Mr. Charles Sheka, who is the General Manager for the 250 startups in the country, to tell us more on these startups and what they're doing to change the world and make it a better world for us digitally. Thank you very much, Charles, for making time to be with us, and welcome.
Thank you for inviting me
to the show.
Yeah.
Take us through what is 250 startups?
Thank you very much. 250 Startup, it's a multi-partner incubation program that supports tech startup company in the country to be fundable. So it's a platform that some of the criteria to join the incubation program is when we have innovative solution, of which it has the component of technology in between. We look at the team behind this solution to put it on the market in 6 months. Also, we look at the scalability, vis-a-vis the impact. Is it scalable to another nearby countries or in the region or in the world? So we look at that because we believe that the 12 million that we have in the country, they can't be all your clients as a company. So becoming a unicorn company, it's be a challenge. So we look at tapping into different markets around. So lastly, we look at the viability of the founder to make sure that in 6 months you're available. We give you all the resources that you need, and then you take the company on another stage.
But how different are you from other startups? Because I believe there are too many startups out there. How different are you?
Thank you very much. We have different hubs here around.
Yes.
When you look at, we have K-Lab, we have Fab Labs. They're more doing the same of what we do. But why we came into existence, because when you look at K-Lab, Fab Lab, it's more like on ideation stage. And this is hardware world when it comes to Fab Lab. And then K-Lab, it's a knowledge hub. You have an idea, you go on and they give you a space where you can start work on it. Now, if you have a prototype, this is a prototype. I normally explain it if you're thinking of making an aeroplane. You have a skeleton of an aeroplane. So if you have a skeleton of that aeroplane, that's where you qualify that you have a working prototype, then you can come on our platform. So we give you different facilities to give you. So the uniqueness is we give them the working space, more like of others, but the unique one is that we give you transport and lunch to go and access the clients. No one is doing this in this ecosystem. Then another thing is we reserve 1 million for each startup company. We take 10 startup company per 6 months, and this 1 million is more like your daily expense while at the center. Again, no one is doing that. And the uniqueness there is we don't give you money that get the money, this is the price, go. No. We dive in with you. Then we know the challenge you're facing, and if you need more money, more than what we had planned for you, then we look into how to support you to make sure that you go on market, because that's our main goal. Yeah.
So we know that startups, most of them will hardly make it, hardly make it.
Yeah.
How do you ensure that your team is making it? Because you said you have 10, right?
Yeah.
Who come in each cohort.
Yeah.
And every other 6 months, you make sure that they're done with whatever you're educating them on. Their prototypes are, set to go to the market.
Yeah.
How many of these fail out of the 10 that you get?
We started last year in June, in June 2018, and we have supported 30 startup company. Out of those 30 startup company, only 2 that have failed. Like they didn't fail. One startup company, the founder got a scholarship, went outside study. Another one, so the money being employed, it became heavier, and then he was employed. So he left the company, and we call it failure because it's not now running the company as we expect. But still, it's not a failure, because when you're on our platform, we give you the capacity building. This is something that you need even when the company fails. Because one of the service, maybe I can take you through what we offer, is the product development, which is bit technical. This is hardware and software. This is all bit of the technology, which technology you came up, and then we give you an expert that helps you in that. The market validation is where you go forth and back to the clients to test what you're trying to solve the problem you're trying to solve. Go to the client, talk to them, come back, change based on their feedback. And that's the money that we put aside. Then another 2 components that are very important is the legal part of it. I guess it's something that is questionable all over the world, because startup companies always forget the legal part of it. So, and the last one is finance department. That's why we focus on business plan, evaluation of the company, and how you make money in details. So out of the 30 that we have supported, 12 companies that are generating revenue. Actually, I've been talking to Kigali Innovation City to see how they can give them a good ticket this morning, so that they can take the company on another level, you know. And the other company, they are pivoting. They had to pivot because what they came up with before the platform and what actually needed, depending on the research they made from the clients, it was a bit opposite. So they had to pivot and start afresh. And the 6 months are over.
They're over now.
Yeah. So that's more of a wrap-up of what we are giving.
So since the start, how many cohorts have graduated? Because I know just recently you had a graduation ceremony.
Yeah.
And congratulations on that. So how many have graduated so far, and how many have made it to the market?
As I told you, we started in June 2018.
Yes.
And we have done 3 cohorts. Actually, the 4th cohort is started in 3 weeks. From now, already started. So all those 3 cohorts that are started recently, as I said, 12 are making money, others are still struggling, ABCD. And another component we do is capacity building. So we get a startup company, we match them with the fresh graduates in finance and law. And these people in finance and law supports when it comes to the business plan, those are finance, and then law, legal department, all legal documentation that a startup company needs so that some investors can come and invest and trust. So, but behind these fresh graduates, there are local consulting firms that we hire and pass the knowledge through them and then support the startup company. What do we want to achieve here? We're trying to see if the startup company failed, what next? Because the success rate, as we know in the world, is almost alarming, you know? So we are planning, we have a plan B. You know, these people that we give the knowledge, these are fresh graduates, these are young Rwandans that are here unemployed just because the companies are complaining that they don't have practical skills. So how do we empower them through the incubation program and support the startup company? Guess what? So 90% of these people that we have given internship, they're employed.
Really?
And allow me to thank all these institutions that have hired these fresh graduates that we normally have on our program. The current cohort that graduated yesterday, 50% they are employed. And actually our base from the research I made through asking around, one was getting 1.2. And I was so happy that he passed the interview quickly. Why? The question you ask them on interview, it's what we take them through supporting these people. So when you talk of how the business plan done, how is the concept is done for the business, they answer directly because we take them through as we support the other startup company. Yeah, sure.
So what does it take to join, you know, to be part of your cohort?
It's just simple.
I can imagine it must be competitive because we have very brilliant young minds.
It's simple, but a bit competitive. Why? Because we are looking at a scalable business. We are looking at innovative solution, not a solution deprecating, like you want to do the Facebook of Rwanda. No. We are likely not to take you. And if you don't have technology in it, again, we are likely not to take you, advise you in one way or the other, connect you to other incubation around, but we're purely tech incubation program. And we just click, it's www.250.rw. Then you land on the page, you'll see apply as a founder or apply as a trainee, finance or lawyer. And then you apply, then we do document screening where we go through what you applied and how relevant it is, depending on our criteria, which is, I mentioned in few minutes. And then from there, we call you, you come and take us through one-on-one, like take us through what you're planning to do and ABCD. Then we select based on what even you have told you. We have done the document screening, you come take us through of what we do, and then we plan the boot camp for 3 days, where we go details. We use a lean canvas and business model canvas, plus the design thinking, which is the worldwide tool that are this incubation that are using worldwide. So we try to understand deeply, because we don't want to take you and 6 months you're not on market. Then I won't be able to say, if you ask me a question where the success, I'll be struggling. So I need to be careful in the selection process. And after there, we have evaluation committee, which is composed of LISA, which is the government institution. It is composed of ICT Chamber, which is the mother, more like where we're coming from, because ICT Chamber Rwanda, which is under the PSF, private sector, initiated this initiative that I'm talking about right now. So from there, you present to the evaluation committee, then we select the best team. I'm not on that team that selects normally, at least in the document screening, but that one is composed of all, and actually one of the banks here, because we want to test even the business side. Is the bank understand what you're doing, and before even we take you to the platform, and then we start the journey together. Yeah.
What would you say are some of the prominent, 250 startups? Because like you mentioned, when you talk about Facebook, we know where it comes from. We talk about WhatsApp, we know it came from. What are some of the applications that have, stood out from all the cohorts that you've had? Yeah,
I will start from the first cohort I mentioned too, or maybe the last one, just for the interest of time. For the first cohort, we had 10 still, and the best 2 companies, one of the company, it's doing assimilation and animations. So it has online laboratory. It's called Genius Panda.
It's called what?
Genius Panda.
Okay.
So it's the name of the company. Excuse me. So what they do is, using assimilation and animation, they work on online laboratory. So you and I know that we are struggling. It's a regional problem when it comes to well-equipped laboratory. That's where he picked the interest when he was in school. So he's trying to solve that problem using online. So you don't need to have all the equipment to have to draw a circle. You just need to use your computer, use your smartphone, and then draw that circle. You don't need to buy the set and ABCD because of financial issues or ABCD. And we are lucky that he is doing the pilot study in 18 schools in partnership with the Rwanda Education Board. The Honor Minister actually allowed us to do that pilot study in those schools. And he acquired, now he's in negotiation with a Japanese company whereby they want to do what he does here. They want to do it in Japan. You can imagine. So another company is called ICOS. It's managing all the cooperative work online. Okay. So a cooperative member, you don't need to go to the cooperative. And you understand we have more cooperative worldwide. As scalability and impact, it's something that we care about. Okay, before we take you on the platform, we take care about it. So, and also through the MOU they signed with a Japanese company, they also going to do the pilot with a Japanese company, bring drones here and do the detections of diseases of different crops. They're going to start with Irish, they do in rice, and then detect diseases, and they send that data on the platform so that they can analyze the data there and then sell that data. You see? So those are the best from the first cohort. I'll go straight to the second cohort, which is, I'll pick one, and then the third one, the fourth one next time when I come, because we're still taking them through the process. So for the second one, we have one in health. So you're a midwife, you're trying to be a nurse one day, but there's some courses that you do to certify you. Yes. So it has online certified content that you go there and learn online, wherever you are, and then they take you through, they assist you, and then you come up with a certificate. And it's accredited with all the midwife here in Rwanda, association in Rwanda, and other government bodies. So it's also doing amazing. Actually,
so they can easily study on phone.
Yes, you start on phone. You don't need to go in class. We're trying to see how we can move to the digital world and change this economy of Rwanda into a knowledge hub, as the government of Rwanda is trying to take us through in that. So we're trying to contribute to that, bring a more tech startup company, and then we have the knowledge economy at the end of the day. So lastly, from the third cohort, we have Ikizamini. You have a driving license. I don't know whether you have one. So if you have a friend who doesn't have an online, a driving license, so the journey starts with a provisional test. So you can start the exams, you can start the quizzes online. You just pull up your phone, put Examini, and then go through all these tests. They give you different quizzes from different questions that I've been asking. You don't need to buy books. You no longer need that. You don't need to go in a TOEIC and sit down and study. No. You just read and then get to understand that, and then you go straight to the book. He has more than 6 million subscribers, and these are people that are visiting, that have visited this platform. Actually, 400, they are visiting it
every day.
Every day.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah.
But Charles, one would wonder then, what's in it for you, really?
Yeah.
Because you said you fund them, you've said you educate them, you train them, you know, you actually protect. It's like a baby. You see a baby grow.
Yeah, our babies.
So what do you gain from all this?
Yeah, sure. As I said, it's an initiative from ICT Chamber. ICT Chamber being in this market for so long, analyzed and tried to see where the problem is. As I said, we're trying to be, we're working closely with the government of Rwanda to see how we can put the economy into where the government drives it to be. So we want to support more tech companies in that, and then, you know, change the ecosystem in that angle. And after realizing that no one is taking care on this side that have all the uniqueness that I mentioned before, so we're trying to, we had to pitch to different developing agency, and I talk now we are like that JICA came on board actually in 2018 and then gave us the fund. So we are running under the project called ICT Innovation Project, that one of the components is matching the Japanese company and Rwanda. We have one of 250 startup and extending this knowledge, these hubs from the city into the secondary cities. So ours is 250 startup, and that's what we are talking about today. So we are funded by JICA, and we are an impact incubation program. We want to see more of 100 startup company by 2025. Each company equivalent to 50 USD. What does it mean? Million USD. What does it mean? We need to support more. Because we're not supporting on 100 and when we get the target. No, we need to support more because the success rate, as me and you, we know, it's alarming worldwide. So how do we reach there? Is to support more. And we are looking for developing partner that we can have cohort here, cohort there, and then we reach the target in not even by 2025. So
basically, of all these applications, if I should put it that way, or rather all these startups, you're not a shareholder to any.
We don't take any share.
You freely let them go.
Yes.
Okay. So we take a short break and we'll be back after this. Of course, we'll be diving into some of the challenges and, you know, the way forward for the ICT startups in the country. Do keep it the big Q. Welcome back and thank you very much for keeping it the big Q. I'm still talking to Mr. Charles Shaka, who is the General Manager for 250 startups. Of course, he's been telling us what the incubation hub is doing for the young, brilliant minds in the country. When we talk about startups, there's always an issue when it comes to copyright, you know. There's always an issue, like we rightly put it, Facebook has done it. I want to start a Facebook
of Rwanda.
Of Rwanda, you know?
Yeah, sure.
Someone has done this, say, in Ethiopia, but, you know, we do not know that's happening there. Can I easily, you know, come in? How do you deal with that?
Thank you very much. That's how we came up with it's an interesting question. It's a global challenge that are people come complaining, you're taking my idea, you're taking my idea. So actually the first 2 months when you're on the program, we don't sell you anywhere. That's why I can't take you through what we are doing for the current call that we have recruited. Why? We need to first protect them. We need them to understand what they are doing, because some of them, they come when they have innovative idea, but they don't really understand in deep what they actually came up with. So what we do is we have a department of legal department, and we hired a local consulting firm. It's called Bytelex. This firm is trying to help us when it comes to all legal matters, leave alone the intellectual property. We're trying to see the trademark. We're trying to see all this legal documentation that a company needs, these contracts, because we have seen many wrangles when it comes to a contract that a startup company give, they don't have the money, they hire you, and after it becomes a fight at the end of the day. So how do we protect them? We take them through that using this fresh graduate that we hire, that is getting the skills through this consulting firm that we hire to support these fresh graduates, and make sure that all the legal issues that a startup company, all legal documentation that a startup company needs, through working closely with RDB after registering. Why do you register before even you confirm even the name of the company? So you need to go through all this. That's process, why the first 2 months we don't make any statement about the startup company we have recruited until when we go through all this and we know that we are sure we are safe, then you can go and then and talk about your product. In that, we work closely with RDB, and all these registration, we take them, we call, invite all the RDB experts in charge of different departments. It can be intellectual property, it can be the branding, patent rights, you know, all those stuff, and then come and take them through what it takes. Because we are not an expert, but we leverage on all the expertise that we have in the ecosystem to support these people. And we have done something out of that.
But you know, when you talk about copyrights, of course, there are other issues like funding. You know, funding is also a major thing, because you say when they, after the 6 months, they let out to the world, you know, at some point, maybe a year or two, they do not have enough money to keep pushing for what they do. How then do you help them? Because when you go to a bank, they look, it's a risky business, you know, the end of it all. And maybe they don't have the guarantee that they need to get this money. So how do you jump in here to ensure the funding they get is sustainable throughout?
We had a challenge before actually we came into the place, because people are helping them, and when it comes to investment readiness, because it's a challenge from the investors, they also need to understand this early stage startup company, but also the startup company, they need to understand the language. So bridge that gap. There's a language when an investor comes, he's going to say, I'm going to give you this amount of money and ABCD, and they don't understand. It's huge money. You can even get confused and like, how am I going to, because all the people that we have supported, we have 19 years old. So you can imagine giving them the 50K ticket.
I know.
It's a huge money, right? So we take them through all the process. How do you handle questions? Okay. Yesterday it was challenging, and they were giving him a lot of money. Some are giving them even the market. They were like, I'm giving you 50K, and I'm going to take, I need to see 20 clients that are using the platform, and also I'm going to be a part of the shareholding and taking decision. And like, yeah, we can discuss after. So if you're not on the platform of 250, then you will answer like, yes. But there is a process in order to accept and give even a single share to an investor. So through investment readiness session that we take them through, and then practice it, pitch it every day. Like every Friday, like tomorrow, they're going to present like what they've been doing for the entire week. And we ask investment questions. And every last Thursday of the month, we invite some experts. They can be mentor, they can be people who have been there in the field. Try to ask those tricky questions. So tomorrow we meet an investor, you know how to answer the questions. Yeah. So from that, we invite different experts from even the region. Recently in the Transform Africa last year, we had an expert from Kenya, and we had a side event sessions there and take them through the startup. How do you accept the money? What do you need to prepare before even you talk of any single money? What does it mean to take 5 shares of your company? All those details, yeah.
Women and girls should be part and parcel of this.
Yes, sure.
So in your cohort, how many, give us a scale of 1 to 10 percentage, how many are women?
We had, is it 10% of the founders that came up with a solution? They are girls. It's challenging, to be honest, and allow me to call all the girls and women around to come in this field, because there is life. There is life, and you can make more money than even when you're thinking of getting employed somewhere, you know, because we have live examples of startup company. I'll give you 2 startup companies that are founded by women and have been on our platform and have been the best startup company. We have Volado, which is online e-commerce platform, and they're making some good money. They are founded by 4, but one of the co-founder and actually the driving this startup company is called Tadim. She's a lady, and she's doing anything than this e-commerce platform. So another one from the 3rd cohort, when you need a chef, let's say in weekend, let's say you need this type of food, you don't know how to cook it, you don't need to go in the kitchen and start messing up with, you know, you just need to go online, go cook.rw, and then you order chef. It can be African food, it can be, and it was, it's a company which is founded by Yvonne, who is a lady, you know. And so we encourage many girls and women to take to take a chance, you know, take this opportunity that we have of 250. We don't take any share. Why not coming on the platform and we assist you? Like I normally tell them, we want to make you rich, regardless of it. We don't take any shares in a company. We just want to support you with all our resources that we have and be rich. Yeah. But what we do is, because we have more number of men applying as founders, so when it comes to professional internship, we are keen there. So we take more girls than boys. If you come under incubation, you'll witness this, what I'm talking about. Yeah.
It's interesting to see that we can also order for a chef, you know, to come and cook for you.
Yeah.
But as we sum up, Charles, what would you say are the most, you know, because you've been in the industry, you know, so what were the most challenging things, and how do we work over them to ensure it's a playing field for everyone, and, you know, we're trying to see everyone succeed and grow to make Rwanda the ICT hub that it should be?
Yeah, the most challenging part is investment funds in this startup company. So all the startup companies that come from our platform, of course, not all of them, they're investment ready, but 50% at the end of the 6 months, they're investable, you know? But the challenging part is that investor who can believe in the early stage startup company and invest in money. So the challenge is, we have been seeing many investors coming on board, but they want to invest in the startup company that have much revenue, like with less risk. So it's a bit challenging. You have supported all the support, and afterwards, when a startup company, the founder doesn't get the money and give up.
Yeah.
You know, give up at certain point. As I mentioned, 2 startup company founders, they left the company and then they had to do different stuff. It's because no one is believing at the early stage, and we have been in discussion with different government institutions to see how we can support early stage startup company. Give them money, and then they reach at a certain level. When they make money, they give back the money, and also they take over. We have a BDF that is giving money, and we had different conversation with them, and they're giving the certain percentage for youth, women, and something like that. So it's one of the government initiative to see how they can support early stage startup company. But it's not on the level that we wish it could be, you know. The risk, they're also skeptical when it comes to the risk involved on early stage startup company. So that's the most challenging part. But we managed to discuss with different, as I said, KIC, Kigali Innovation Fund, which is initiated by the government. We are trying to see how we can tap into the government's money to support this.
Absolutely. Now, for a young person who is watching you today, and he says or she says, you know, I fear I can't jump into this, or I tried, I failed. What would you tell them, you know, concerning startup? What would be the 3 tips for free? You know, just give it to them.
Yeah, it's very simple. One is of the thing that we're trying to work on, and we are trying to have different conversation from different radio stations, different TVs, and going finding them from their localities there. It's simple. Just look at the problem that your mom, your dad is facing. Because this chef that I'm mentioning, that you order chef online, the lady looked at how he used to suffer at home to get what mom wanted to eat on the busy schedule that she had. And had to find ways, how do we solve that problem? You know, you don't need to go to the town, you don't need to go to ask any office, you just need to start small. What are the problems that is surrounding in your localities? And then solve that problem. And then find out how you can engage or you can involve in IT, which is technology. Which technology can make the solution you are coming up easy. And that's it. And then another thing, in tech world, we have to be flexible and quick, because technology is changing every day. So you have to be quick and then flexible. You can come up with chef today, but tomorrow you need to come up with something else on the same platform, so that you can attract more people to come. So that's something that we normally advise youth to do. And lastly, startup companies, they don't fail because of lack of money. No, they fail just because lack of clients. So the first question you need to ask, who are my clients? Are they youth? At what age? Do they have money? Or can I use NGO? Can I use the government institution to pay for these people because they benefit in one way or the other? So those are some of the questions. Which problem am I trying to solve? How big is it? I normally ask when you come to pitch to me, I was like, how big is the problem you're trying to solve? I want numbers. How many clients that are facing this problem? If you can tell me it's this number, and then I make some research and see it's there, then you qualify. Other things I come and then I help you. So it's just what problem are you trying to solve? Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Well, thank you very much, Charles, for making time to be with us.
Thank you very much for inviting me.
Of course, I've been talking to Mr. Charles Shaka, who is the general manager for 250 startups. And it says, when you want to come up with a startup, think about the problems surrounding you, in your homes, at work. You know, those are some of the places you can start off and think big and grow. My name is Fiona Mbabasi. To keep it to the BQ.